The day Evelyn Monroe crossed the line. Evelyn Monroe completely lost control the moment she saw my disabled son, Micah, playing outside. His long chestnut hair flowed freely in the spring breeze, untamed and radiant. To Evelyn, it was an abomination, a disgrace for any boy to wear his hair long. In her twisted worldview, masculinity came with a buzz cut and polished shoes. Anything outside her rigid standards was shameful. Fueled by misguided rage and a lifetime of unchecked entitlement, Evelyn snapped. Without warning, without hesitation, she lunged at my son in broad daylight. And with an unforgiving grip on a pair of scissors she must have stashed away for this very purpose, she started hacking away at Micah's hair. Micah's scream shattered the quiet of our suburban neighborhood. He cried. He begged. His voice cracked as he pleaded with her to stop. But Evelyn didn't care. With every violent snip, she stripped away the comfort my son had found in his long hair. Chunk after chunk fell to the ground, like pieces of him being stolen right in front of everyone. The worst part? No one stepped in. Not one of our neighbors moved to stop her. They watched from their front porches, their windows, too paralyzed or too cowardly to intervene. This was the same woman who had terrorized them for years. She had harassed, humiliated, and driven people out of our community. And they let her do it. Again. But this time, Evelyn Monroe messed with the wrong family. And she was about to learn there are some lines you never cross. The calm before the storm. When you raise a child with special needs, you learn to hold tight to the small things that bring them peace. For my son, Micah, who is 14 and autistic, that peace came from something simple, his long hair. Micah has always been gentle. He struggles with loud sounds, unpredictable situations, and unfamiliar faces. He's easily overwhelmed, and sudden changes in his environment can send him into a panic. But amidst all that uncertainty, my wife Ava and I discovered something. Something that grounded him. Something that helped him feel safe. His hair. It started years ago, during a thunderstorm. While other children might find safety in their parents' arms or under thick blankets, Micah's comfort came when his fingers threaded through his own hair. He would sit cross-legged on his bed, shutting out the world, running his hands through the soft strands until his breathing slowed and the fear melted away. It was a quiet ritual, but one that gave him power. His hair wasn't just hair, it was an anchor. And so we made a decision. We let Micah's hair grow as long as he wanted. We didn't care what people thought. He found peace in it, and that was all that mattered. Our family embraced it. My father, a former Marine, never once made a comment about how boys should look. Ava's mother called his hair his silken armor. His aunts and uncles treated it with reverence. We made sure he felt supported, protected. Until the day Evelyn took that from him. The Queen of Willow Creek. For years, Evelyn Monroe had ruled our gated community of Willow Creek like a tyrant. She wasn't just a neighbor, she was the self-appointed enforcer of a pristine, manicured world that existed only in her mind. As president of the Homeowners Association, Evelyn weaponized her authority, punishing families who didn't meet her impossible standards. She thrived on control. She destroyed lives quietly. A letter here. A complaint there. Families disappeared from the neighborhood without warning. Rumors swirled about people losing their homes, their businesses. If Evelyn didn't like you, you didn't stand a chance. And no one fought back. At least, not until she targeted my son. The obsession begins. Evelyn had been fixated on Micah's hair for years. She masked her disdain behind forced smiles and condescending comments. It's such a shame, she told Ava once, her lips pursed, to let a boy grow his hair like that. It's confusing for people. Sends the wrong message. Ava ignored her. So did I. But Evelyn wasn't done. During HOA meetings, she would glance pointedly at me when discussing neighborhood standards and proper appearance. She never said Micah's name. She didn't have to. And then, one day, she escalated. Micah was sitting outside, legs swinging as he read a book. I was nearby, on the porch. Evelyn approached him with her usual fake smile. She reached out, uninvited, and ran her fingers through his hair. You'll thank me one day, she said with a chilling certainty. Boys shouldn't look like girls. Micah flinched. His fingers instinctively gripped his hair, shielding it. That was the first time he asked me, Dad, do you think she's going to do something? I should have known. The day she crossed the line. It was a Saturday afternoon. Micah and his friends were playing soccer near the park entrance. For once, he wasn't worried about his hair or his anxiety. He was laughing, carefree, just a boy having fun. Evelyn ruined that. She marched toward the group, her eyes zeroing in on Micah like a predator. Her voice was sugary at first, scolding them about playing in the street. But no one was fooled. They ignored her. Micah turned away from her, back to his game. And that's when Evelyn snapped. She stormed back to her house and returned minutes later, scissors in hand. The boys didn't notice at first, not until she was too close. She grabbed Micah by his hair and yanked his head back. He screamed. His friends yelled for her to stop. But Evelyn didn't hesitate. She began cutting. Chunk after chunk of Micah's hair fell to the pavement. Micah sobbed. "Please stop," he cried. But she wouldn't. She kept going until his hair, his comfort, his security was gone. She stood there afterward, holding clumps of it like trophies, smiling as if she had done something noble. The aftermath. Micah ran home sobbing, his hands clutching what was left of his hair. When Ava and I saw him, I felt something inside me snap. I'm a former chief of police. I've faced violent criminals. But nothing compared to the rage I felt in that moment. After comforting Micah and making sure Ava was with him, I walked across the street to Evelyn's house. My knock on her door shook the frame. When she opened it, she smirked. "Oh, it's you," she said. "Come to thank me?" I arrested her on the spot. Evelyn Monroe, HOA president, was cuffed on her own porch in front of the entire neighborhood. Her smirk vanished. Her arrogance drained away. She shrieked about her rights, about her husband Richard, about how this wasn't over. But it was. And the neighbors? They watched. They filmed. And for the first time in years, they cheered. Unraveling the empire. Evelyn's arrest triggered a chain reaction. The HOA board scrambled to protect her, but it was no use. We investigated. We uncovered years of corruption, harassment, and discrimination. Families came forward with stories of being driven out, bullied, fined into submission. We dismantled the HOA from the ground up. And Evelyn? Her husband Richard filed for divorce. Her empire crumbled. She was left with nothing. Healing and moving forward. The next day, Ava and I took Micah to the best salon in the city. He chose a style he liked, something sharp and bold. A lightning bolt shaved into the side of his head, a symbol of strength. His friends rallied around him. They came to the house, offered their support, and played another game of soccer with him the next weekend. Micah smiled. A real, genuine smile. We promised him he'd never feel powerless again. And we kept that promise. This isn't just a story about a neighborhood tyrant finally facing justice. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest acts of courage, standing up for your child, refusing to stay silent, are the ones that change everything. Because when people like Evelyn Monroe believe they can control others through fear, they never expect anyone to stand tall and say, "No more." But we did. And we always will.